25 years ago, we asked a group of education and technology and cultural professionals to predict what life would be like in 2020. As we wind down on the celebration of our 125th year, we asked experts and influencers from Wichita State and our community to talk about the predictions made during the university's 100th anniversary.
So it's obvious life will be different by the year 2020, but what will become obsolete over the next 25 years? Students and members of the WSU community say current methods of teaching will fall by the wayside, and the lecture approach to teaching will disappear, and perhaps even the live on-site professor will become a thing of the past.
That's great. Well, obsolete, that word was used in this. And what I would say has really shifted predominantly here at Wichita State is that we're putting much more emphasis on applied learning. And so every degree program that we have really will have elements of applying what you're learning in a real world setting. So that definitely has been a shift. The video also talked about shifting from in-person lectures. And certainly with the pandemic, we shifted much quicker than we would have anticipated. But even before the pandemic, over 50% of our students were taking some kind of online learning. And those classes are including elements of virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and just a variety of virtual and digital experiences. So definitely lots of changes.
The group representing technology and communication offer a different insight into life in the year 2020. They expect the telephone of today to be obsolete in 25 years. This group agrees that we will no longer be dependent on printed materials, and paper shuffling will become a forgotten art. The standard work week will become a distant memory, and traditional jobs will give way to new careers in the next century.
Really interesting predictions by that group. Fascinated that 25 years ago they would predict the change with the telephone, and we see that today. Telephones today are so powerful. In our pocket, we have machines that are small computers capable of recording, taking pictures, making movies with those devices now. Really impressive that they could see that so long ago. Paper shuffling is not yet a thing of the past. We still have paper in lots of the things we do, whether it's in classrooms or in offices. Obviously, electronic documents are in use, and we use them more so today than we did 25 years ago, but even our electronic documents are still mimicked on and based on the printed material on the off chance that we have to print them out for someone. Jobs have changed a lot more in the last year, I think, than in the prior 24 years. I think the really interesting thing for the next 25 years is whether where we do our work continues to evolve, and whether or not people are increasingly working from their homes or from locations far removed from the offices of today.
Those in the arts, culture, and values group see an end to the educational structure as we know it today. No more printed museum catalogs or paper tickets. An end to public and federal funding for the arts, plus an end to our current rigid gender roles.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. The more things stay the same, the more they change, or however that goes. Much of that is true, right? I mean, we've seen, but for COVID, I don't know that we would see our education system shifting as much as perhaps they thought it would in 1996. But we're certainly in the midst of a shift in that particular space, I think, prompted by all the most recent activities, although higher ed in particular with online education has changed, maybe not as much as they would have anticipated in 1996. When I think about funding for the arts, I think if you look at the entirety of funding that is provided, it's about the same, maybe even a little higher, but when you look at inflation, it certainly has gone down. The arts have been politicized. I think the arts have always been a very political part of expression, but that has allowed for decreased funding. So I think they nailed it on that. Gender roles, completely nailed it. Gender roles have shifted. Not only have male and female, just the whole notion of what gender is, I think has continued to evolve. And so in 1996, they got that one right. That evolutionary process has continued. The one that I think is funny is the paper tickets. You can do both. My mom still needs a paper ticket. My husband uses everything on an iPhone. And so we're certainly getting that way. By 5 years from now, I doubt that we'll have paper tickets at all. So we're well on our way for that prophecy to come true. These are really interesting, funny. Time has changed.
On the education front, our discussion group predicts an end to letter grades. No more textbooks, and they see the disappearance of the traditional role of teachers.
The traditional role of teachers. I'd like to know what the group in 1996 believed was the traditional role of teaching and how they defined that. Teachers are still in the classroom. It's important that we have teachers in the classroom, but I think the role of the teacher has moved to more of the facilitator of learning. We're doing more project-based learning or applied learning in the classroom, and so the teacher's role is about facilitating that learning process and making sure the resources are there for their students. We're still using letter grades, but they do look different. It's more of a standards-based grading where we're looking at the mastery of learning of students, taking out all other factors, whether it be behavior or other factors that maybe we measured prior with the grading, and we just looked at the mastery of learning and if the students are learning the content. No more textbooks. Well, we still have textbooks, but they have changed quite a bit. It was in the probably mid-90s that one-to-one initiative started in schools, and we're seeing that in the K-12 schools as well as the university level. With the World Wide Web, as that has grown, they're using open resources and putting together their own textbooks, but we will always probably see the structure of textbooks.
Those working with government and the law believe the two-party system will become obsolete. They also believe public accountability will erode. In addition, this group sees an end for small governmental units such as counties and townships, as well as an end to the welfare system. And perhaps it's just wishful thinking, but they also see paper becoming obsolete by the year 2020.
Well, we certainly still have Republicans and Democrats, and I think even in 20 years we'll have Republicans and Democrats. Actually, they're probably more powerful in determining policy and certainly who gets elected than they were 20, 25 years ago. We probably have worse public accountability. Some of that's because of how the parties have changed. Probably more important, the death of local media and the changes in national media. And we certainly still have counties and townships and such. And actually, I'm speaking here right at hopefully the end of the coronavirus pandemic time, and things like counties are way more important than they have been before. And while we do have government welfare, if anything, we have more now, although it's more in healthcare and less in direct payments than it was 25 years ago. I guess I did look at this on a small computer screen, so paper is less important, but I've still got stacks in my office.
To wrap up our discussions of the future, we asked each group to identify their hopes and wishes for the year 2020, and the responses are inspiring.
World peace that's not imposed by military power.
A global consciousness.
A better quality of life.
To be judged as a man and not a man of color.
An end to pollution.
New vaccines for deadly viruses and diseases.
I have a tremendous faith in the human spirit. My hope is that this spirit will continue to generate individual and collective success, as well as a sense of accomplishment.